Hey everybody, welcome back. As many of you know, I like golf and it's Masters
T&E
weekend,
Soft.
so I'm enjoying a new game I got for myself. This one is a Japanese exclusive for the Sega Saturn, and I don't have a Sega Saturn, but I picked this game up anyway. It only cost me like 10 bucks. Sometimes you can get it for $8. It's a nice little game, but I just use emulation to play the game, and it plays perfectly fine through emulation. I just like having the physical media too. I mean, it's not a requirement for someone to enjoy this if it's out there. But when you're talking about CDs and stuff like that, sometimes it's just easier to have the physical media instead of having to figure out how to get an ISO or something online. But that can be done. But either way, I like having these versions, and I like having this collection of games that feature Augusta National. So this one is T&E, which they have a series that's been out. There's games also on the N64. There's games out. I've got another video of one that's on the Super Nintendo, and I think they also may have had. Maybe that's it. Maybe just Super Nintendo and the N64. I could be wrong. So that's probably all. But I'll dig deeper into that because I'm always looking for more games like this. And this one really surprised me. It showed that the Sega Saturn was capable of doing pretty good. You can see I've got this up here. I'm kind of cross fading in and out a little bit just to show you what it looks like. I recorded the gameplay, and along with that, I recorded through Google Translate, and then I recorded my screen. So you're going to see some things where you can see the translations, which is for sports games. It's really easy to buy games like this from Japan and use Google Translate to translate the menus because they come out really clean. It's not like a lot to read, so it helps you set up the game. It helps you know how to get started, and then after a few times you don't need to go into the menus anymore because you know what they do. So I just wanted to let people know that you could use Google Translate, and like I said, I recorded it both at the same time and kind of spliced it together so you can just see what it does with the translation. And it's pretty handy to have that because there's sometimes little bits there that you don't know. You see my hand passing across the front of the camera once in a while because sometimes you need it to refresh the screen. So just by passing something over the screen, it'll refresh and it'll do another translation. So now that that's all out of the way, I want to tell you about how pleased I am with this game. Once you start seeing the gameplay, you're going to see why. It's the only thing that I don't know. I haven't seen if I could play without a second player because it always puts you in a group. So I'm going to play a round of the Masters with another player, and maybe I can turn that player off, but it was best to do this anyway because you can see that there's actually a ball cam in this too, where it's like 3D, which is so impressive. Now what it does is you can see it takes essentially the texturing on the terrain away while it does the ball cam. And then you'll see the other player also play, and you'll just see how it looks with the standard shot. So you've got both views in this, and I'm going to leave this. I'm going to play 6 holes only because it kind of has a slow pace. The other player doesn't really slow down your pace much because they play pretty quick, the computer player. So I don't dislike it too much, and it gives you a moment to feel like you're in the real thing a little bit. But again, I'm going to have to see if I can disable that player to play a quicker round of golf sometime. But I'm going to do the first 6 holes. The presentation is just lovely. I mean, they do a course overview hole by hole, and even though I don't know Japanese, I can pick and hear a few words that I do know, and of course some are in English, so you kind of get the vibe of what they're doing. But this game was really a treat. I don't mind the swing meter at all. It seems like it reacts pretty well to what you think the wind is going to be and stuff like that. The greens are a little tricky, but that can happen on a lot of games, but they're not too bad. The meter could be a little gentler for short putts, but this is kind of old school where it was always you had to hit it really quick for a short putt. So having that all put aside, I just really am super pleased with this game for $10. And even though it's a little slow, you'll see that it's slower when it's doing the 3D because it's really churning, I'm sure. So the ball path in the air takes longer than when you're just looking at the standard shot, and that does slow down the gameplay a bit. But again, what this could do back then, this would have been fantastic. I mean, this is very early ball cam. I think PGA, I can't remember when the one came out for the Macintosh that I have, which has ball cam. But this looks even slightly better in a different way. And to think that this was on a console, it's just fantastic. This would have been such a treat to have over here. But we didn't really have more than, one game that featured Augusta back then. And I think it was, before that, it was Mean 18 from the old days. I don't even know if anyone got the Augusta license till the late 90s for a game. I'd have to look that up. I'm probably a little off or wrong on that. There might have been one on the PC or something like that. But it seemed like Augusta was really tricky to get. But fortunately, Japan got plenty of these where they had the Augusta licensing. So you can just play these games from Japan. I wish I would have known this back in the day, because I would have wanted to play this. When I used to watch the Masters in the 90s, I really wanted to play courses. I think what I had done is I had found versions that were, sounds like I'm saying versions that were, and they were virgin courses. They were freshly, newly made, and no one else was making them. But they were only on those courses, or the games that had course design. So you had to get those kind of off-brand courses, you know what I mean? People usually did a pretty good job creating them, so it was still good. But, obviously there was more ways to play these, but they just didn't bring them over to America, probably because the licensing fees or something like that over here were just much more ridiculous. But either way, now that I've got this and I play this, I'm giving this game a big thumbs up, because if I can project back to 1995, that's the date on it. I don't know if it came out in 96. Sometimes the date on the publish is like a year before, but I'll look that up. It'll be posted in the video description when it came out accurately. But in the mid 90s, this would have been a blast to play. And other than if you say you were playing with 4 people or something and you were using ball cam, it would have been very, very slow. It would have been a long game to play. But a pair of people playing through this could probably get through, if they had the pace right, an hour and a half maybe for 2 players. So, and again, it does have a slow pace, but that's because the system, it's older. It was trying to keep up. There was a 3DO version too, I guess, but I don't know what that looks like, and I'm sure it was much weaker. I'll probably check it out sometime, but I doubt I would buy another copy of this for a system that probably played it worse. So I'm really happy with this. And just so people know, the emulation is great on it. I'm not having any glitches or anything. It plays perfectly fine. And I'm just, getting used to the controls on this. And not so much the controls, but the distances, getting comfortable with the clubs and stuff like that. I know there's a sub-menu in here too where you can change your shots. I haven't even played with that yet, but it's in there. And I'll probably, mess around with, changing to chip shots and stuff like that. But it pretty much automatically sets you up for the right path right away, which makes it very friendly. The only thing you'll need to do is adjust for wind maybe. And, one of the things that's part of the setup, when you go to hit it, you can see your footing. So you can choose a hook or a slice, which helps you adjust for the wind right away. So there we go. Here it is. Just enjoy, watch this. And, for those of you that are big fans of Augusta National and are always looking for another, way to play this course, and maybe if you're, into some old school gaming, this is a very advanced old school game, I'll say, before the era of, say, Tiger Woods and stuff like that, and all the newer stuff in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I really appreciate what this did, and there you go. I'm probably going to do a full round sometimes, but I'll cut that down so it's a shorter full round. Maybe I won't show the whole previews. But again, if anyone has comments and they want to see a full round, let me know if you want to see the whole previews, because they take up a lot of time, or if you just want a totally separate thing with whole previews. But keep in mind, they're all in Japanese, so I don't know how beneficial they are to anybody. But as you can see right here, it's just a great presentation, and it really feels like you're part of the Masters, so I think that this is one of those games that's done just about as well as you could have in the mid-90s. So there we go. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time. So long.
Nice par.
3番ホールパー4マスターズティー360ヤードメンバーズティー360ヤード。ティーショットはフェアウェイ左に配置された4つのバンカーの右サイドが目標です。セカンドは距離はいりませんが正確なショットが必要となります。グリーン面はボールを左に転がすようになっているためパットは常にピンのわずか右を狙います。
Yes, you're on. Nice birdie.
4番ホールパー3、マスターズティー205ヤード、メンバーズティー170ヤード。オーガスタの4つのパー3の中では最も距離のあるショートホールです。このホールでは距離の長さと難しいパッティンググリーン面が真にプレーヤーの技術をテストすることになります。ティーショットはグリーン手前の深いバンカーにつかまらないように十分な距離を出すことが必要です。
Nice par.
5番ホールパー4、マスターズティー435ヤード、メンバーズティー405ヤード。おそらくオーガスタで最も難しいミドルホールでしょう。このホールはドッグレッグを起こして左を狙うように誘惑しています。そして左狙いをミスすると大きなトラブルが待ち構えています。ティーショットは安全にフェアウェイ中央まで持っていけば、セカンドはミドルかロングアイアンでグリーンを狙えます。
Lucky shot. Nice par.
6番ホールパー3マスターズティー180ヤードメンバーズティー165ヤード。このショートホールはティーグラウンドがかなり高くなっているためワンクラブ短いクラブ選択が賢明でしょう。グリーンは右から左へのマウンドで前下がりとなっています。オーガスタの中で最も難しいと言われるこのパット面はわずかな油断が3パット4パットを招くことになるでしょう。